Hello, beautiful people. It's BSG.
And family.
And today we are coming with the long overdue video of what we like and dislike about living in Portugal. Okay, so we're going to start with our wife. Wife, why don't you tell us a little bit about our journey, how we got here, and why we're here, and all of that good stuff.
We came here because America was getting a little bit crazy. We didn't feel safe there, and we just wanted peace, mental peace. We wanted to feel safe going.
What do you
out
mean
and about.
feel safe? It's America. Everything is great in America.
Everybody's shooting every other day. There's somebody shooting, getting shot, and it's like it got to the point where it was like at the grocery stores. Typical places where I go to all the time. The stores that I go to was the same stores. Some of them were even in our neighborhood, not too far from us.
Really?
Yeah. So you keep
I didn't know
hearing
that.
and then it's not just your neighborhood. It's happening all over the country.
Right.
So once you see that on a daily basis, it's like it's only going to get worse, and that's what has happened. Poor children.
Okay, we're not gonna make this video about America. That's why
we wanted to move.
That's why we left.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why we left.
All right.
We got here.
So I'm gonna go to my son here. All right. First of all, you don't have to say your name, but say how old you are.
I'm 18 now.
Okay. And tell me what your first thoughts were when we talked about moving to Portugal.
Well, when you first started talking about it, we'd already been trying to move to other countries such as France or potentially Australia or something like that. Maybe Germany, but we settled on Portugal because it was very peaceful, and that part is true. And
we ain't got to the likes. I just want you to talk about how you felt when we first started talking. So you were excited to move?
Not really, because I've been living in Georgia for most of my life. So
You weren't excited to move?
I was excited to see a new country, but I didn't want to leave.
Why? Because you was leaving a boo behind?
I didn't have a boo.
No, I don't know. So where did you, were you done with high school before you left, or what happened?
No, I finished high school here.
So how did you do that?
I did it online.
Okay, young lady. So same question. First of all, how old are you?
I'm 16
No,
now.
you're not.
You never believe my age, but
No.
whatever. I'm 16.
No, you're 14. Uh-huh. And what were your first thoughts when we talked about moving to Portugal?
Honestly, I was just like, oh boy, here's another country they looking at, because it's just so many others that y'all.
Oh boy, what? Where's all this information?
Because the whole moving process started years ago, and you're just
did.
sitting in Georgia's like, where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? So I got tired of it, honestly. I really
This
did.
is new. Did you know this? This is news to me. Okay, so you
Probably got tired of all the back and forth,
Yes.
the indecisiveness. Yeah.
okay? But we needed to decide where the best place was. We was just supposed to jump at that and just
No.
okay. All right. So okay. All right. So now, did we just move over here, or did we visit first? How did we do things?
Well, a few years ago, we came for 1 week.
What year? Because
That was 2018.
Okay.
And prior to that, we were in London, so we kind of came here to kind of just relax, and it was a peaceful trip for the most part. But we really weren't looking then as like a place where we could live here. We were just like, it's really nice, it's cute, it's quaint. There were some quirks about it then, but we overlooked it because
Right.
we were on vacation.
Okay.
So, but then once things got crazy back at home, we were like, okay, we can't stay here. We got to go somewhere. Then it was like, let me check into Portugal a little bit further.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that time, the cost of living was much lower.
At what time?
When I started doing research.
At the 2018
so,
time?
Yeah.
You need to
2018,
specify that. Okay.
2019, Started doing research about Portugal. At that time, cost of living was really great.
The dogs. I don't know if that's gonna be a dislike. I'm just.
It's a dislike. I'm gonna just say that right now. Get it out of the way. It's a dislike.
Y'all hear the dog? This is
every day.
This
all
is
day.
this is a bit excessive. I don't
They
normally
wanna
hear them
be
like
heard.
this.
I don't know.
Yeah, there are too many dogs in Portugal, and they have too much to say. All right, so we're gonna do this a little bit different. I don't know of any other family that's done it like this, but we're gonna go and try to get 5 dislikes and 5 likes. Are we starting with the dislike?
No, let's start with the likes.
We'll start with the like from each person. Okay, so from 5 to 1. So you're just gonna give your 5th one right now. Okay. All right. So we're gonna start with the wife. So what would be your 5th dislike?
I thought we were doing likes.
Oh, likes. Okay, we're doing the likes
just
first.
wanna do
Oh,
the dislike.
no. You want to do the dislike. All right. So your 5th like. We're just totally unscripted. We're just doing it.
The bottled water that we drink.
What is the brand name?
Luso.
All right. Yes, they have.
It's
That's
best.
really, really good
Really good.
bottled water. Okay, that's an interesting like. Okay, what'd you say?
The weather. It's pretty much always the same.
The weather is 5 for you. You got 4 things better than the weather.
I'm just giving them. I'm not
Okay.
giving a ranking.
Well, it's supposed to be in the ranking, but you gonna go with the weather for 5. Why the weather?
Because it's mostly the same every day. It's sunny. It's pretty much blue skies everywhere. But the wind can be a bit of a pain, especially if you're trying to like shoot a basketball, because you will shoot it and it will go behind you almost.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Your first like. This is the likes, right?
Yes.
All right.
They have like these little custard tart things. We don't get them that often, but when you do, it's like pop in your mouth is good, and we get the lemon version. I like that, so I think that would be 5.
All right. That's interesting. I'm just gonna let y'all do it. I'm not gonna. I might jump in here and there, but not right now. I don't think I have 5 likes, so
I don't think we're gonna get to 5 between us.
we'll see. It can be the same, you know.
I guess the next one would be, I like that there are grocery stores everywhere. Like, no matter where you are, you don't have to drive far to get to a grocery store.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm within, like, in 10 minutes, I'm at least close to, like, maybe 3 or 4 grocery stores.
Really?
Yeah.
So why does it take you 3 hours to go grocery
Once
shopping?
I'm there, oh, back up now. Once I'm there, I gotta look at everything. So,
That's one of my pet peeves of life. You taking 4 hours to go grocery, you come home with 3 bags. All right, next. You should be thinking about this as the other person is talking.
I have been thinking.
Okay.
The cereal. She said water.
The cereal. What cereal?
Okay, they have this like really good granola here. I don't know if it's crusty or crusty, but it's CROUSTY. It's
You putting the cereal on as a like. Okay.
It's worth it.
All right. You.
Looking at the water, not getting in it.
Which water are you talking about?
The ocean. Like,
Oh, okay.
if you drive on a road called N6, there's a lot of water along that road, so I like looking at it if you drive by.
Okay.
I like our little car that we bought.
That has nothing to do with Portugal. That has to do with my money.
Yeah, but I like it. It's cute.
That's
It
good.
works great.
What do you like about it?
It just fits me.
You like the gas mileage.
Yes, I get it filled
We can
up
get
once
like
a month.
800
It's
miles to the
awesome.
gallon.
Awesome. So yeah, I
we
like
the gas mileage, because the car cuts off every time you hit the brakes.
Yeah, if you sit still for too long, it cuts off. It's like, And then once you take your foot off the brake, it starts back up.
Right, so that's gas safe. But that has nothing to do with Portugal, so that doesn't
Well,
really
that
count.
car isn't in America, so it's here.
Sure, next.
Man, I'm struggling. She done already said the water, the views.
You can say the water. Again, it could be the same.
Okay, then I'll just say the views.
Views of what?
The beach, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, we used to have a view of the beach. Living here, when we moved in, we had a ocean view, but you know.
Now
Yeah.
we have an incomplete house.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
I don't know.
Come on now.
I like that the food is locally produced. Like, I don't know what I always eat in America, but here it's like, this is fresh, even though it can be nasty sometimes, just raw, but when you cook it, it tastes fine.
Well, who cook it?
No.
Oh, okay. You know, that was news to me. Is it locally? Is it all? I don't know.
Most of their like their produce, they always have little signs locally produced. So most of it is
Just okay.
but some is out of the country.
I'm not
like
sure about
certain
it.
fruits
It
and stuff.
could be like made in Italy. Like
They have a large variety. I will
made
say.
in Italy doesn't mean it was produced in Italy. They can just put a stamp on it, like a lot of your handbags and
I'm talking about
Gucci
the
and all
fruit.
them.
They're not gonna lie about the fruit.
They
where
might.
it came from.
All right, next, like this is the number 2.
I would have to say the weather.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
It's good for my joints and things. You know, I don't have as many problems here as I did back at home.
Okay.
The fact that we're close to everything here. Close to the grocery store, we're close to a mall whenever we go to it to get things that aren't at the grocery store, close to a hospital, things like that.
We're close to a hospital? We are?
Yeah.
Right next to the mall.
I'm gonna say cereal.
Y'all with this cereal, man.
Seriously, it's not that much.
It's not going with it. All right, the number one thing you like, with you know, what's gonna be the weather? Weather would be the only thing for me, honestly.
You made us pick 5. You got 1.
The weather. The weather. I don't have much.
You know, I would say the feeling of being safe.
You know what? I was gonna say that.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I wouldn't have any fear of walking here at night.
Why?
I don't go out
Everybody
at
says
night, but
that.
if I wanted to,
why do you
I
want
don't
to
have
walk
any
at
fear.
night?
I don't. When it's nighttime,
That's
you
what
need
I
to be
don't-
in the house.
Everybody
That's how
says
I am.
that.
But if I wanted to, I don't have any qualms about going out here.
Yeah, I'll speak on that later. I agree with that.
I think everyone can agree that that's the best thing, the safety.
Okay.
Safety.
Okay.
I can't think.
You can't
I
think.
can't think.
Yeah, I'll you know, I haven't, this channel is about y'all. It's not, I have another channel, you know, so I told you, stay together.
I haven't
Okay.
moved. I don't understand.
They're girls, bro. They're fidgety, especially this one on the end. I'll definitely say that, you know, again, just keeping it real. We there's no faking the fun with this channel. We keep it all the way real. When my wife talked about shooting in America, you know, what we're talking about is, number one, school shootings, shooting kids and stuff like that. And number 2, the shooting of black people, specifically black men. Just keeping it real. And so I did not want to continue to raise 2 kids in a country that doesn't value any kind of child, but especially black children, especially black males. I've seen too many stories of, you know, dudes just walking home in a hoodie, coming home from school or whatever, and, you know, some vigilante, you know, neighborhood watch dude wants to say something and then dude ends up dead. So I can for sure say that here in Portugal is almost a detriment, but what I would say is people don't really care about you here. It's like a positive and a negative. They don't give a damn about you. So you can just do your thing and nobody's gonna say anything. So, you know, this time we haven't had any interactions with the police. I did have an incident, not gonna lie, when we first came here, when we visited. I'm not gonna talk about that. But, you know, it's very safe. For the most part, just in terms of meeting people, for the most part, people are open for the most part. Not all of them, but people will talk to you, you know, stuff like that. But I don't really care about that. I care about, you know, my wife being able to get back and forth, us traveling, stuff like that, you know, it's always felt safe. So the only two likes for me personally is, I would say, the weather and the safety. All right, so now on to the dislikes.
The pedestrians that step out in front of your car without looking. They just
I
know
thought you were gonna save that
They
one.
just know you're gonna stop. So
Wait,
I have to get used to.
You have to explain that one.
Well, back home, you can see people getting ready to cross, but they're looking at you. They're making eye contact, and they decide, hey, I'm gonna wait till you go by before I cross, or I'll go ahead and slow down so that they can cross. Here, it's like I'm driving. And they're on their phone and they're stepping out. They're not looking left. They're not looking right. They're looking at the ground. No look crossing. That's what I call it. The no look. So I have to be on extra alert to stop for them.
Right.
You know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Noise.
What do you mean noise?
In many aspects. Everywhere that we've lived, there's been some kind of noise that disrupts our daily lives in some way. Here is almost constant. Construction noise from dogs, talking about who knows what, just barking across the neighborhood. You hear a dog over here, a dog over there, and they're barking at each other. And then there's a dog next door to us who gets in on the action. So, at the apartment where we were staying, I swear there was a wrestling match going on every night upstairs, directly above us.
FIFA fun.
Yes.
Yes.
Like little feet.
At 11 o'clock, midnight. Yeah,
Like
little kids'
the
feet with no
should-
socks
The
on.
kids should be in the bed by then.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that.
I
Okay.
was gonna say noise too, but for a different reason. I was unfortunate to hear people going to the bathroom in the apartment. So imagine that.
We all heard that. Yes. So, yeah, definitely, you know, just the construction alone. I would say here is mostly the construction. We're literally surrounded, like they're building that house, and these projects weren't here when we moved in. You got to understand. And so we asked the people, "Are you sure if they're going to be building?" And you know, my wife says different. To me, they assured us that they weren't. And now, even right here, even this little piece of sky that we have, our little last piece of sky, guess what? They're now starting to build. This, to me, this piece of land isn't even big enough to build a house. And so now when they're done, we're not gonna be able to see anything. They also don't have any type of, what do you call it? Like, I don't know what their easement situation is or whatever.
You have to have a fence.
They can build directly on, like they can build to here. Like they can touch this legally. This is what I'm being told. We're not used to that. In America, you have your own space.
You have to have a 10-meter fence.
But if you don't have a fence, it's a free for all. And so this landlord that we have is the cheapest landlord of all time. I don't know if that's that we can't really call that a Portugal dislike, but I don't know. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. Okay, so 4 for you.
Oh, the sidewalks. I can't walk with confidence. I have to walk looking down everywhere
Why is
I
that?
go.
Why?
Because the sidewalk is like this with the cobblestone. Either chunks are missing, or over years and years of use, it's concave, it's crooked, and so I can't walk without being afraid I'm going to twist my ankle. So,
Very true.
yeah.
I was gonna say the cobblestones because sometimes I feel like I'm in Minecraft. That's how rough it is.
Yeah.
The graffiti everywhere. Not just like, oh, it's something artistic. No, it's just random scribbles everywhere.
Yeah, I'll just, for me, the stuff that they're talking about, it's either number 1 or number 2. I did a whole separate video on Lisbon's infrastructure. That's the big thing for me, the dislike, because we're not used to that. You should be able to walk, down the street This is supposed to be a highfalutin neighborhood. This is what we're told. We can't tell, but you know, is with all of the infrastructure issues they have, is you don't feel like going nowhere. It's not a walkable city. Most cities in Europe tend to be walkable. This is one of the least walkable places that I know of, just from a safety standpoint. And then, you know, as a man, the sidewalks are literally, I'm not joking, about 12 inches wide. So you have to tightrope. It's not enough for all of us to walk together. We got to walk like ducks, you know, and then cars are zooming by and stuff like that. That part is very unsafe. So, yeah, I knew somebody was going to say something about that. All right, next.
Parking.
I thought that was gonna be number one.
I mean, it just
It's
came
all
to
part of the
mind.
Portuguese
Yeah,
infrastructure.
parking.
What is it about the parking?
Well, for one, it's very hard to find parking on the street level. Now, if you go to a mall, they all have parking garages,
Right.
which is fine. That's great. It's awesome. I can park with confidence there. But if I just want to pull up to a building and run in, I can't for
Right.
the most part. You know, I have to be worried about somebody's going to hit me, or, you know, I have to look for some type of parking garage situation because I just don't feel safe parking on the street. It's
Right.
just too tight. The streets are already not wide enough for cars, period. But then people
Right.
decide to park on the street
Why do they park on the street?
because there's nowhere to park.
Because why do they, in a neighborhood like this, why do they park on the street?
Because, oh, for residential, they park on the street because for some reason somebody in the land of architectural design here decided that everybody garage has to be this big and your car is this big.
You
So,
can't,
I
literally you
have
can't
like
fit the
an
car in there.
inch on each side to
She's not
navigate,
joking.
And I have to nail it perfect
She
every
can't
time.
park by herself. I have to guide her, and she
Yeah.
doesn't like to do it.
And I'm using backup camera and everything,
Yeah.
and it's just too stressful. So that's
Right.
why everybody parks on the street, which means you don't have enough room for two-way traffic on your street because there's parked cars on both sides. So
Okay.
we have to take turns and let each other go by.
Well, we got to keep it moving
Yeah.
really quickly.
The food, specifically from
Food is number 3.
specifically from restaurants, because we are lucky enough to have someone that's a very good cook, our mother.
Someone.
You don't cook.
Are you serious?
You don't.
Are you
When
serious
when
right
you
now?
buy,
Are you
that's
serious
you
right
claiming
now?
that you could.
Who taught you how to cook? Who
He
taught you how to
showed
cook?
me some things,
Tell-
and
tell the
I
truth.
went off
No.
on my own.
You really think
It
you're a better
just-
cook than me?
Yes. Now, yes. You had me on a few things back in the day, but no.
You most frequent cook, but you're not the better cook.
You
Yeah.
might have cooked for me and Izzy like 2 or 3 times in our whole life.
That's not.
It's
That's
been
not
more.
true.
Coming out.
That is
The
not
truth is
true.
coming out.
Anyway, the food. Okay, so the food is what, son?
When you get it, you're pretty much guaranteed to get one of 3 sides. Fries with no salt, nothing else on them. White rice with
Yeah.
nothing. And I don't know who made this a thing. I can barely eat a tomato on a burger. Since when are tomatoes something to snack on?
Yeah.
Oh, you forgot the black beans. Now, sometimes you can get all 3 of those. You'll get the fries, the white rice,
But
and
there's
the black
nothing wrong
beans.
with those things. So what's wrong with them?
There's
What's wrong with the
there's no
food?
seasoning,
There you
no
go. See, y'all have to
flavor.
you can't just say
Who
stuff.
wants to eat a trifecta of carbs, though? I want beans and rice and fries. You're just gonna be
That's
plugged
true.
up.
But it's
That's
then
it.
that is it that they don't
and-
have seasonings here,
Oh, they got tons of
but
seasonings.
people don't use them.
No, I do, but they don't.
Okay, we got to keep them. We can stay on that one for a while. That's a pet peeve of mine. Yes.
There's nothing to do here, especially for
That
kids.
should have been number 1.
Like-
I was,
I really feel bad for these little kids, especially because I be seeing them on their bikes, whatnot. Oh, I'm gonna go to the park, yay! But they don't have no kind of roller coaster or Disney World or whatever. They have a water park way down south in the Algarve. We've never been to it, but that's it. That's all they got.
I would say in general for all, it has nothing to do with the kids. This is the most bored that I've ever been
Right.
in my life.
So many video games.
So
Well, if you like soccer, it's awesome.
if you only like soccer, and see, we're not, you guys can comment below, but see, we're not soccer fans at all. Okay. All right. Are we on our number 2 like? 2 dislike?
yeah, I think
5, 4, 3, 2?
Are we not at one yet?
No. Okay.
They don't have ranch
What?
or barbecue sauce, so I have to make it. Anything that they have a lot, they don't have a lot of things, so I'm forced to cook a lot because they don't have the stuff, which is frustrating. But yeah, no ranch.
Yeah.
You can get you some yogurt.
We knew they
dressing
didn't have barbecue
but
sauce from the visit.
our vacation, right?
And it was like, that was crazy. I was thinking about opening up a barbecue sauce
Yeah.
shop. But yeah, that's true. You got that as number 2. That's funny.
I'm like, ranch? I guess it's kind of our fault, but the language barrier.
Okay. Why is that our fault?
Because, I mean, I guess since we were going to Portugal, maybe we should have learned more before we came over here. And since we've been over here, none of us have really been trying to get good at the language.
I think that's partly because we don't like it here. So, we haven't been trying. But people told us that most people speak English over here. Do you find that to be true?
Not really, because I ask the question a lot, and they'd be like, no. So then I'm like, I've got to try to figure out how to communicate.
All we heard is everybody speaks English. That is not the case. Again, if you're in Lisbon, how far are we from Lisbon?
We're about a good 20-25 minutes.
So we're not that far.
Oh,
Right.
Hell, so I have to pull out my phone.
I mean, but you can't expect, this is
Translate.
their country,
Right,
it's
that's
their
true.
language, so you can't,
I had to
But we
learn
were told that
basics.
everybody, don't even try to come and teach people English. They already know. That's
Right, they did say that.
that's not true.
Lisbon is where we
We're
were
not,
when we
this
first
is one of the
got
top
here.
suburbs. That's why you can still
Yeah.
see the water. It's not like way out. Oh my God, we looked at some places.
We went
Man,
every- we
I
went
have to
everywhere.
jump in because I got too many. I have to add this one. The value of the houses, the way that they're built, what you get for your money is terrible. Okay, again, all these houses, look at my other video, all these houses are allegedly $1 million houses. Okay, and they're, compared to America, they're pretty small. You might get 200 meters, maybe if you're lucky. Some of these houses don't have air conditioning. We don't have gas ourselves. We have to use the tanks. And so we're just not used to that. If that's a custom thing here, then okay. But we're used to, like, for example, when you're taking a shower or you're washing your hands, we expect the water to stay hot. Can't tell you how many times you wash your hands, the water gets cold because the tank has run out. But yet the prices of these things is like the infrastructure is top notch, and it's really not. And 5 years in, 8 years in, a lot of these houses start to fall apart. Remember they had the bathroom issue, and it went from the top floor to the bottom floor. He had a James Bond closet though, but couldn't fix that one.
House.
Yes.
Yeah, it had mold and stuff.
What house didn't have mold?
Yeah.
And then your favorite house, we have to talk about that.
The crack house.
The Smooth Criminal.
Oh, that one.
Oh no, there's two of them, right? The crack house. We're not being derogatory. The house was literally full of cracks.
Horizontal cracks everywhere.
And we were told that's normal.
Crack.
We were told that's normal for poor. Oh, all houses have that. You don't need to worry. No, all houses do not have that. But I was considering that house because
And I wasn't.
I thought it was honestly the best deal. Number 1 for you. Dislike.
Oh, I don't know.
You should have the number 1.
I know, right?
Okay, if it ain't number 1, you done got rid of all of
I
them.
mean, I got rid of it.
Number 1 for me is that there's nothing.
Okay. That you just gonna end it.
I thought you was trying to be quick, but it ties into a lot of what we said. 1, the language barrier. If you want to make friends with somebody, number 1, you gotta start off the conversation awkward, like, hey, do you speak English?
Right.
And then in this neighborhood, kids my age and Farrah's age live here, but every house is gated, so you gotta buzz the thing instead of just
True.
walking up to the door and perhaps maybe seeing somebody. And
But
no
you
one's
see people at the
outside.
park and stuff all the time, but they don't
leave.
engage.
They leave.
Yeah, that is true. When we go to the basketball park, a lot of times when we show up, they leave, or sometimes they don't leave, but they won't, they're playing soccer. Man, see, y'all get me. I got too many dislikes. Well, I got to put it in. I don't know what number it is. Playing soccer on the basketball court. I can't tell you how many times we've got up to play basketball and they're playing soccer. The basketball court is for basketball. All right, number one for you.
There aren't that many that I've seen, not that I get out that much, but there aren't that many girls my age who are interested in the same kind of things, but I wouldn't know anyway because I don't speak the language, like Izzy said.
What are you basing that on?
Like, I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but I tried making friends at the basketball park that we go to. They had their phones or whatever chilling in the shade, and I'd play basketball with you and Izzy, and you told me to go see if they wanted to shoot, but they didn't because
you can't base it off that one experience.
But
That was
I've
just
seen
some.
a lot of kids that all they want to do is be on their phone.
Well, the people here are very, again, this is our opinion, disclaimers, whatever, but we just gonna keep it real. To me, the people here are very lazy. The kids here are very lazy. So like my daughter says, it's just a lot of people that's just on their phones, not really engaging, especially the young people. And my kids aren't like that. They read a lot of books. They're actually writing books right now. So, y'all different anyway. Y'all not the average kids, but we know people who got kids, and we'll invite them over and stuff. They don't show up, which for me, that's gonna be, I got two more. I don't know the first one. It's just a lot of dislikes, but I would have to say number two for me. Well, number one is the infrastructure. So that's why I made a whole separate. The infrastructure is number one for me. It's terrible. The driving, the walking, we've already talked about. But number two, I would say that people here are fake nice. Okay, and I'm talking about my personal experience. They're fake nice. They act nice, but they're really not nice. Portuguese people, in our experience, and my wife will attest to this, some of the fakest people, if not the fakest people that we've ever met. Okay, several examples. How many times have we got scammed here? With the visas.
Getting our nifs.
We paid an attorney to take care of some stuff for us. They took the money. We never got anything. We found out that we could get it free.
You have to vet the people you work with, because some of them will take your money. And they'll come on those Facebook groups and say, oh, I can do this, I can do that. So you do have to be careful with that, but you do still need somebody to help you.
Okay, like I said, we've met, a number of people here. We invite them over. They say they're gonna come over. They don't come over. You know what I'm saying? It's just seemed like it's a fake, like it's off-putting. It's like a distance. There's.
That's probably because we didn't buy a house.
There's two. Well, but that's not. Yeah, the two of these people were realtors, and so we were looking at houses. And I think in the middle of the process, we we're gonna wait because the price of the houses is too high for the area, for what we're getting. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking I'm gonna wait until the market crashes. And so it does seem like, after that, things change, even though they said, oh, it's not a problem or whatever. But these people have kids, similar to our kids' age or whatever. And they came over once, but I invited them several times to things. They never showed up. They'll say they'll come see us. Just be real. Hey, I'm not going to make it, whatever. Don't say, oh, I'll be there. Oh, I'll call you Monday. I'll call you this. They don't call. It's fakery. Again, in terms of the people, we've had horrible landlords everywhere. Our first Airbnb, I don't know if it was the first one, but the second one had mold. We didn't know we had mold. I almost had to go to the hospital. I was having breathing issues, didn't know why. But we could smell like a basement smell or something. It was like this interesting, but my wife looked, couldn't find it. Come to find out, the mold was on the curtains. The place had been vacant so long. The mold was on the curtains behind the front curtains. So there were 2 sets of curtains. The first set they cleaned, the second set they didn't, and it was black mold.
Yeah, I didn't even mean to discover that. I think I was maybe trying to look out the window,
Right.
even though there was nothing to look
There was
at.
no window.
What though?
I don't know.
You was looking at a
construction.
dumpster, right? It was construction there. So I almost had to go to the hospital for that. So that was that place. That wasn't going to be a long-term place. That was just like the place we were staying. The reason why we had to stay there, I'm so glad I remember that, is because our first landlord, the first lease we signed, told us that our place was going to be ready in like a week or something. That turned into almost a month. And then when we got there, it was exactly the same as it looked when we looked at it. In fact, we asked them to redo the wood floors because the floors were dirty. And so let me tell you what they did. They took not the stain, but the lacquer that you put on top of the stain, and they put that on top of the floor, but they didn't sweep the floor. So they actually lacquered dirt into the floor, didn't bother to sweep it up or any. So we had to move into a place like that. So that cost me extra money to get another Airbnb while they waited to so-called fix the place. Then the place was never fixed up. And that's the apartment where we could hear people stomping, hear people peeing, smell people. Anytime somebody went to the bathroom doing number 2, we could smell it. You could almost smell what they had for lunch or dinner. You could hear people. I almost bought this guy some Claritin one day from all the sneezing that the upstairs neighbor was doing.
Loudest sneezer ever.
No, your mom is number 1, but
No, he was louder.
I don't know.
I don't think people can hear mom sneeze through other floors.
I don't know, but I almost bought him some medicine because it was that frequent and that often. And then, that landlord, now here's that thing, here's the crazy thing. That landlord was a bad landlord by American standards, but he was the best landlord that we've had here. Now think about that. Okay, he was a horrible landlord, but he is 10 times better than this one. This house, we'd make the video too long. All the issues that
Yes.
I'm not gonna do a separate video because I'm tired of it. But we've had so many issues, and what's terrible is we don't have the same protections that we have in the United States. Like if you do something in the United States, you can call this person, you can call and, they'll, write them up or they'll contact them at least or whatever. And it doesn't, we tried to call attorneys here. Just to make a long story short, amongst all of the issues that we have, the number 1 issue is I've been having a lot of health issues, okay? A lot of health issues, going to the hospital multiple times. I do have some stuff that run in the family, but it seemed like it was accelerating and it didn't make any sense. And so we went back to America for my daughter's birthday. And the whole time I was there, I felt good. And that was weird, because I always watch what I eat, don't I? Okay. I always watch despite the way I look, I always eat very healthy. But when I went to Florida, I ate like I truly wanted to eat. And I felt bad. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Soon as we get back to Portugal, about a week after, I started feeling bad again. So it was like, what's going on? So I don't even know how this came up, but somebody mentioned radon gas.
I think it was Izzy.
And so it was like, okay, well, let's get a radon gas meter. And sure enough, the basement is full of radon gas. Now the basement is clean, is finished. It looks just like another room in the house, but there's crazy radon gas. We let that meter run for over a week. It's 2 times the normal level that it's supposed to be based on Canadian and United States standard. And even for the Portuguese standard, it's still higher than what it's supposed to be. We let the landlord know. First of all, when we told the landlord that it might be, I wasn't supposed to pay for it. They were supposed to pay for it. The landlord didn't want to pay $50 for the test. So we paid it, right? So we just knew once we found out that the house was full of radon, you know, they were going to take care of it. Didn't do anything, haven't done nothing to this day. And so that's ultimately the reason why we're leaving. That's just one of about 20 issues. There are doors we can't open, windows we can't open, blinds we can't use, blinds that are broken. Our refrigerator is broke right now. Like right now is broken. And again, we're talking about $1 million plus neighborhood. I'm not paying some cheap rent. I'm paying, you know, a good amount of rent. Just, you know, we expect those things. So that goes back to the people. We don't do people like that. In general, I'm not going to say every person in America is good. That's not true. But in general, we wouldn't even rent this house the way that it was looking when we moved in, to be fair. We probably shouldn't have moved in.
But we wanted to get away from
We wanted to get from fee, fi, fo, fum at the other apartment. It was like, and then I thought we was going to be able to park. We couldn't park at the other apartment. We was like, oh, we're going to have a garage now. Get to this place, you can't even.
We actually had better parking.
We had better parking at the other place, which is unbelievable. So we overlooked a few things. But, you know, the refrigerator was working. Other things were working. Now they're not. And the landlord hasn't done anything. And so if it was just this landlord, then maybe okay. But because it's been Airbnbs. Oh, speaking of the Algarve, we booked a trip. Come on. See, that's what I'm talking about. We booked a trip to the Algarve. I had a situation come up and we couldn't go. Okay. It was plenty enough time to cancel. So we canceled. We canceled with the people. They didn't refund us. They stole our money. And this is with Airbnb. Had no kind of recourse or anything like that. This is what I'm talking about. This is Portuguese people. So it's been several Airbnbs. It's been our first apartment. It's been this place. The people have been horrible. They took advantage of us. The attorney stole our money. All of that. We tired. So that's number one for me. You know what I'm saying? Huh?
It would be number 2 because you said infrastructure.
Where the infrastructure is number 1, fake people is number 2. We ain't got time for that. So with that, we're going to end the video. Now, again, if you want to come over here and try it, you know, if you just want to look at the beach, I'm talking about from an American perspective. Okay, from an American perspective, if you want bland food, okay, if you want to look at water and you want to overpay for property and you want to put Portuguese people out of their house because Portuguese people cannot afford these places. They can't afford the rent. They only make 700-800 euros a month. Top jobs are 2,000 euros. All of these places will rent for more than 2,000 euros, including this broke down place that we got here. Okay, so fair warning. I know it's a rough video, a rough ending, but you know, we uprooted our whole life to come here. If we had to do it all over again, would we have moved? Tell the truth.
No.
To a different place, but not Portugal.
Yeah.
And that's terrible. Think about that. Taking our kids away from their friends, few friends that we had, whatever, go away from that. No Chick-fil-A, none of the stuff that we used to because for safety, but we had all these other issues. So hopefully when we get a chance to leave, we don't know when that'll be, hopefully the next place will be better.